Hey everybody, it's Tony's time. You know what time it is? That means Arun Shiva. That is Indian Cowboy. We're going to break down we're out of the wild card round. A little bit of a surprise in the wild card round. A whole universe was on the Steelers, Arun, and the whole universe had the Steelers in teasers, and the whole universe lost. And so we got the Cleveland Browns taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, the only double-digit favorite on the board, the largest favorite on the board. And then we'll talk about the other games as well. But opening statement, and I will get your reaction. I'm going to make a statement, and you react to it. There, ladies and gentlemen, and I say this because of responsible gaming. There's not a team playing on Saturday or Sunday, Arun, that can't win the Super Bowl this year. Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
I don't see the Rams being able to win the Super Bowl, and I don't see the Browns being able to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you something. You don't get this far without being good. We all know that. You have the Browns, which are a little bit of a team of destiny. They did get a game gifted to them last week for whatever reason. And I don't know how many times I've said it on this show, and I'll say it again. Mike Tomlin is not that good of a football coach. I know what his win-loss record is. I know the tenure, the length that he's been there, but he's only as good as his coordinators are. And I will tell you that I don't think there was a coordinator or a head coach that got a football team ready to play a football game last Sunday evening, because there was no way that should have happened. And it wasn't just a couple of bad plays. It was across the board. I mean, across the board. And a little bit of a shocker. I thought of anybody that could upset another team last Sunday, Arun, Cleveland would have the least amount of chance to do that, and yet it happened to them. And on the other side of the ball, I got to be honest with you, Arun, Cleveland played a hell of a football game without a head coach.
Yeah, so we took the Browns for like a 3-unit selection. My top play was the Ravens, and I took the and that's because you could have predicted that in a heartbeat, because you knew how much against the Titans I was for as long as I was, because I kept saying that they don't have the defensive pressure. But I thought that whenever you have to think that a team that when their head coach doesn't travel with them, they're going to focus. I know it sounds contrarian, but your head coach isn't even there, whereas Pittsburgh's in the confines of their friendly home. You know, they're going through normal stuff. There's no, I like when teams are uncomfortable, because I think uncomfortability breeds focus. It's like sleeping on the ground versus sleeping in a comfortable bed. You know what I mean? And but I do think the Browns are going to run against a buzzsaw against the Chiefs. But we'll talk about that later. But I mean, I do think that you're right. I think that it was just, primed for the Browns to win. First playoff game. Pittsburgh's so banged up on the linebacker core, and it's just going to catch up with, not to mention Big Ben really can't be trusted anymore. You know what I mean? The type of football that you have to play to win a playoff game, Russell Wilson lost. You only get so many possessions. You run into a good defense. You make some mistakes. You have to be such a sharp quarterback to begin with. And I just don't think Big Ben has it anymore. You have to be able to be mobile somewhat, or really, really smart, and Ben was that, but I don't think he has the mobility anymore, and he's just trying too hard.
Well, a lot of that explains the tip passes, because Big Ben is 6'5". You take guys like Drew Brees, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, even Mahomes, guys, quarterbacks that are 6 foot and under. How they avoid getting a lot of tip passes at the line by not standing in the pocket with 6'5", 6'6" linemen is they move around and get out of the pocket a little bit and get an open passing lane. Big Ben, either number one, is that immobile or just that lazy anymore, because he had a ton of tip passes in that game. He has a ton of them that he did not used to have. And everybody gets tip ball every now and then. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it happens, but college and pro and high school, wherever you're, I don't care if your quarterback's 6'6", but you're right, the mobility there. I also think that The Pittsburgh's demise is the fact they cannot balance their attack at all. They simply cannot run the football. And if you can't run the football, that's why the Baltimore Ravens are here. They can run the football. That's why Tennessee got as far as they did. They can run the football. Kansas City can run. You look at all these teams that are left standing. They can all run the football when they have to. They have good running backs, and they have multi-purpose running backs. When we get to that, let's talk about this game between, you mentioned you didn't think the Rams could go to the Super Bowl. They have the big question mark here is Donald. He's hurt. He hurt his rib. I don't know. I've had a broken rib in football at the collegiate level. You really can't play hardly. I don't care how many shots of cortisone and whatever else they gave me. I'll tell you right now, it's going to be difficult if he's not halfway healthy. The quarterback situation is, I'm not a big golf fan to begin with, and now he's not 100%. And you've got Aaron Rodgers, winner. Green Bay's as hot as anybody out there, Arun. And this number has dropped from 7 to 6.5 now. If you like Green Bay, I think this number will come back to 7 closer to the weekend. Bear in mind, though you're watching this, whenever you're watching this on YouTube or elsewhere, we're taping this on Wednesday afternoon. So there's still a lot of, we could have two of the 4 teams come down with a COVID outbreak by Friday and completely change the scope and dynamic of what's going to happen this weekend. So bear that in mind. But Arun, scratching my head a little bit on the line movement here. I have seen some quote unquote weekly publications and this, that, and the other. One of them in particular that's real popular is calling for a Rams outright win up in Green Bay. So I understand the defense. I understand that Green Bay hasn't seen, a lot of good defenses, but last time I saw them play the Bears, Arun, and I'll just put that up there. The Bears are one of those defenses that, quite frankly, is physical and quick and active linebackers, good front linemen, break on the ball secondary, good tackling secondary, a great lateral speed. All those things the Los Angeles Rams possess. And here we go on Saturday.
Yeah, so I like the under in this game. And, it's going to be interesting. The thing about Green Bay is they gave up, they beat Chicago 35-16, but Chicago's terrible. And they beat Tennessee to 40-14. But I've been telling you, I think Tennessee's terrible from the beginning. So, and they beat the Lions 31-24, not impressive. They haven't really played anybody impressive, Tony. Chicago, Tennessee, Detroit, Philly, Chicago. The one good team they played, the Colts, they lost by a field goal. Jacksonville, the Niners without Garoppolo, lost to Minnesota. So who have the Packers played? They have had one of the easiest schedules all year. They lost to Minnesota. They played one winning team, I believe, in their last 10 games, and I think Tennessee sucks. So the only real winning team that I think that they played is Indianapolis, and they lost. And I will tell you this about when they played Carolina, they only beat them by 8 points, and Carolina has a good, strong up front. So I think, I actually think the Rams are going to cover. I just don't think the Rams can win after this game. But I think this game, I don't think the Rams can beat the Saints or the Bucs for sure. And I don't think they can beat whoever, like the Chiefs or whoever that is that comes out as well. But I think the Rams are good for 1 or maybe even 2 games. But I think the Rams scored a random touchdown in that game against the Seahawks that was kind of gifted to them too. So I like the under here. I think both these defensive lines play pretty well. And I also like the Rams to stay inside the number, especially if Darnold is hurt a little bit. Everybody else is going to try to be more focused. So the Rams, like the under.
The unders went from 40, it opened up at 46.5 down to 45.5. And always when the lines move early, that's sharp money. So the sharps are with you on that opinion. Folks, by the way, be sure and get over to Docs this weekend, get hooked up. We got the free $60 banner above our heads there. And of course, the links in the description below. And I did want to, at the request of the owner of Docs, Welcome all the NHL fans to the fold. The NHL underway here, going to be an interesting year. Canada staying north, and the United States staying south, and it's going to be kind of mixed up the divisions. But we have a 50% off special for anybody tuning in through the 19th of this month. So we'll give you 50% off a weekly or a daily package. And there's a promo code, any handicapper on the website. He even let me and you in on this, Arun. So any handicapper on the website, 50% off a daily or weekly package. When you go to their page, just click on the daily or weekly package. There's room for a promo box. Just type in NHL50, NHL50, and get 50% off a daily or weekly package in the NHL as we welcome back the NHL into the fold for 2021. Next game, Baltimore, Buffalo. Buffalo looks like a sexy pick. Buffalo's hot. Well, let me tell you what Buffalo did last week. They got outgained and outplayed in every aspect of that game. The Colts did whatever they wanted to do. 10 drives, 9 of them went over the 50-yard line. They out-yarded them. They out-rushed them. They did everything but outpoint them. The Buffalo Bills defense gave up 472 yards. The Buffalo Bills defense has trouble stopping the run. Well, Lamar Jackson went wild last week, and he is a dangerous threat right now. I hear that weather could be in play here. They got about a 50% chance it's going to snow during the game. It's going to be cold. When you turned on the Buffalo football game last week, Arun, in January, I was surprised to see it clear, no wind, and sunny. Hell, it looked like they were playing in Miami in the game. Buffalo, I think, going to turn around and give them a little bit of the upper New York weather here this upcoming weekend. And Lamar Jackson, I was watching NFL Network Day. He's never, ever played in the snow. Now, whether that's going to make that big of a difference or not, this line has dropped from -3 to -2.5. The total has went up from 49.5 just up to 50. If Buffalo is going to win this game, Arun, in my opinion, they're going to have to score at least 35 points to do it. Your thoughts?
No, I think that's spot on. So my leans here are Baltimore and the over. And I probably like the over more than Baltimore, just because the Bills have been a team of providence, a team of destiny, And but I think this is a golden opportunity for Baltimore, because what you have here is Lamar Jackson will never have another playoff opportunity like this to get him back to the AFC Championship game, because as good as Josh Allen is, that defense is very young and very green. So this is their opportunity. They beat a Colts team because Phillip Rivers just can't get anybody over the hump, okay? Now you can beat a Bills team because that defense is weak on the Bills. And we all know in this league, Tony, you only get so many opportunities, sometimes just one, like my Falcons, right? We'll never go back to the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan again. That was our opportunity, 2083. So now you have the Ravens team. You have an opportunity. You can go to the AFC title game. Yeah, and you'll face, either the Browns or the Chiefs. Probably the Chiefs, but anything can happen. You play the game, Patrick Mahomes can get injured in the first quarter, and then you can find yourselves in the Super Bowl, and you can find yourselves maybe against Aaron Rodgers, and then Aaron Rodgers, anything can happen at any time. Anything can happen. Yep. So I think the Ravens, I think the Bills defense is suspect. I think the Ravens can suffocate you with their defense if they want to. Like they did in their last game against the Titans. They stopped Derrick Henry, didn't they? And Tannehill was really quarterbacking great during the regular season. They just put the clamps on him. But they also had revenge from losing to them early this year and in the playoffs. But like the over, I think the Ravens will get up early, and then I think the Bills will come back and send the game over. And I also lean on the Ravens too.
Well, getting into Kansas City, I lived in Kansas City for 10 years. Got a lot of friends there. All these political protests and they're storming the Capitol going on. Well, I called all my buddies up in Kansas City. I said, I want you to storm Mahomes's house. I want you to storm Kelsey's house. I want you to storm Hill's house, and a couple and Sammy Watkins and Hardman, so they can't leave their house to even think about catching COVID somewhere before this game, because I want them all healthy going in here. Kansas City has not covered a spread since November 1st. I liken Kansas City, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I liken them to the Golden State Warriors a couple, 3 years ago. They just get bored because they're that much better than everybody else. And when they want to, then they kind of dink around. And then when they get in a ball game, the last five minutes, they turn it on. They were down. Remember, this is a team that was down 10 points with 6 minutes left in the Super Bowl last year and won by 10. I mean, they can turn it on a dime just like that. And of course, the Browns a little bit surprised to be here. I'll give them credit. I think their coach did a hell of a job this year. This is basically the same team that Kitchens had, and they've been able to do what they've done this year. But if you compare the coaches, youth and exuberance versus proven veteran, steely-eyed veteran Andy Reid, one of the best coaches in the league. You take a look at Mayfield versus Mahomes, it's not even close. You take a look at the star players at skill positions, not even close. The only advantage is that I see that Cleveland has here is on the defensive side of the ball. They're a lot better than Kansas City. And secondly, they run the ball a little bit better than Kansas City. Kansas City is suspect. I'm assuming that Stepnoski is going to want to try and pound the rock as much as he can, eat clock, and keep Kansas City off the field of room. But I don't think that's going to work for an entire game.
Yeah, I think what I'm really interested in is the fact that total is at 57. When that total came out, I was like, that's interesting. And I think that you're right about the Chiefs being bored because that's why they lost to the Chargers in the last game of the season. There's nothing that a playoff coach loves more or than your team losing to a really silly game, the last game of the season, because then you have your team's attention. See, guys, you're not so amazing like you thought. You lost to lowly Chargers, And that's just because it's always good to come off a loss because then you got your team focused. The worst thing you want to do is win week 16 by like 30 points because then nobody's going to be focused because everybody's going to think they're what comes out of their anus smells fantastic, So I think what you're going to have here is a Cleveland team that's dropped 48 points against Pittsburgh. The Chiefs are going to be excited to play someone like that. And then you have a Browns team that's going to be excited to facing Mahomes. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to see this game. They haven't played in 2 years, by the way, either. So that's interesting, too. So these two teams haven't really met. At my early look right now, I like the Chiefs and I like the under in this game.
Well, the line shot. Whoa! The line. Is that a technical difficulty?
Wait, what happened?
There we go. No, that's all right. Hey, it's live. We're on a shoestring budget. Last week, first of all, this next game, if you're a fan of athletics, a fan of football at any level, this is a must-see television football game. You're seeing two of the best quarterbacks that ever played the game going at it big time in the playoffs for a chance at an NFC championship. Tom Brady, whether you love him or hate him and this, that, and thought he was a cheater at New England and all this Deflategate and all this bull crap. Drew Brees, obviously a model citizen. But at the end of the day, these are the two of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game. And, I remember when Brett Favre played, when he was playing with the Vikings and played for, Drew Brees. This is one of those games you want to tune into. Whether you got action on it or not, you want to see them going at it. That being said, there's a lot of love out there for the New Orleans Saints. The only thing that gives me pause about making a strong position on the Saints is because I do think they're the better team. You got a team last week that put up over 500 yards on Washington's defense, and you got to walk away impressed with that, Arun. You really do.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have. I mean, you know me. I've been hurt by Tom Brady. I was at the Super Bowl, and in fact, that ticket. I think the Super Bowl ticket is right behind. Is right behind me. It's over. It's over this shoulder. You see it hanging down, and that's
Yeah.
my Super Bowl ticket. I was at the 50-yard line, and we were up 28-3, and I was next to Alex Mack's mom, the center for the Falcons. And she and I are both saying how this looks really, really good, that we're going to win. And then she goes, we're charging our phones at the little phone port, inside the stadium. And she was like, I don't feel good about it for some reason. I feel like they're going to come back. And of course they came back. So it's going to be hard to beat Tom Brady. Having said that, the Saints are the ones who've done it. They beat him 38-3 early this year. Then they beat him 34-23 in the first game of the year. In fact, they've won this game. New Orleans has the last 5 times they've played them, and it hasn't really been that close. I do think that Tampa Bay's defense probably shows up here finally, and I do think that they play pretty well. So I actually lean on the under more than anything. As far as the side, um, you know, to be honest with you, I was a little surprised the line didn't come out like the Saints -1.5 or something. I mean, straight up Saints -3. So it looks like the odds makers are pretty impressed with New Orleans. But I got to tell you, they did beat Carolina 30-37, and I use Carolina as kind of a benchmark for a lot of stuff to see how teams prepare, because Matt Rule is such a good coach. The team did lose by only 3 to Kansas City. But then again, Tampa Bay has won, 5 in a row. But they also lost by 3 to Kansas City. I don't have a lean on the side yet. I think it can go either way, but Tampa Bay does have double revenge. So if I had to take a side, it would probably be on the Bucs, just because I do not trust Drew Brees. So I like the under first, and then maybe I like the Bucs.
Well, I'll give you a stat here for those of you that do like the New Orleans Saints. I'll give you a little something to pound your chest feathers with. If you take a look at Tampa Bay's schedule this year, they played a top 10 defense 5 times. They're 0-5 against the spread when they played them, never covered a spread, and they lost those games by an average of 11.5 points per game. And that's throwing in the Washington game last week. So they've taken some beatdowns, and I think it's a tough call on this one. I think Bruce Arians is a good football coach, Arun. I know you're a Falcons fan, and you're not going to sing the praises of either one of these teams, but I think at the end of the day, I think Bruce Arians has done a good thing. And the one thing that you had mentioned about midseason this year, about 5 games into the season, that has come to fruition. You said that Tom Brady had so many weapons, but no chemistry. He didn't know what to do with them. And you said that will come with time. And I think it has come with time. I think they're a lot better football team right now. I think they're peaking at the right time versus 6, 7, 8 games into the season. And that's got to give you a little bit of pause around.
It does. I mean, at the end of the day, it's, will Brady, and do you really trust Bruce Arians? That's the question. I'm talking about Drew Brees, but do I trust Bruce Arians in the playoffs? I don't know if I trust him. Yeah, the side I don't. The side I don't have a beat on much, Tony. But the total. Yeah,
there's a lot of question marks here. If you look at sabermetrics, New Orleans has got one of the best offenses in the NFL. And I don't think Tampa Bay's got the best defense, and I do think that the Saints have the best defense, and that means a lot in a game like this. And I'm probably not going to have any action on this game, honestly. I'm still looking at it. Like I said, it's early in the week. We don't know yet, but I think it'll be one to sit back and watch if you want to see a couple of stud quarterbacks go at it, because I will guarantee you they'll give it their all. I think both defenses, as you mentioned, and this thing shot up to from 49 to 52. So there's a lot of love for the over, but if either team's defense doesn't shine, that the team's defense that plays the worst is going to lose, because both of them got weapons all over the field. Both quarterbacks, and both quarterbacks are good. Drew Brees is not as good as he used to be. And if he does lose this game, I guess just a personal comment, I don't think we'll see Drew Brees play another NFL football game, Arun. Your thoughts? I think he's after that rib injury and his age, and you could see his ability to really stretch the field deep vertically is not there anymore, especially with accuracy. I think this is his swan song right here. Do or die. I think it's the last time we'll
Yeah.
see Drew Brees play in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really see him coming back, especially after what 7, 8 rib injuries. I just don't see it continuing.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's the wild cards this weekend. We got college basketball, we got NBA, we've got the NHL going on right now. Arun, you got anything special going on this week? Any of those red hot runs you're known for going on right now?
Well, football is good, 6-1, and this week, and I hope we'll continue here. And NHL, we closed last year at 6-0 runs. We're excited about the NHL starting today.
Well,
and now that it's interesting. James Harden is now a Brooklyn Net, so that's going to be interesting too. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, and Oladipo is at the Houston Rockets. So their big trade today. Be sure to check that out online. And I want to congratulate Arun, my buddy Indian Cowboy, for not bringing up and gloating and mentioning one time that his Alabama Crimson Tide beat the living dog piss at Ohio State, although they were beat up. And I don't think it made a difference if Sermon would have stayed healthy or not. Good football team. The SEC, Arun, 11 out of the last 14 titles have resided in the SEC. That's some dominance. Who the hell's going to catch up with these SEC teams, and let alone, Nick Saban, what's he got? 7 titles now down there at Alabama. Just complete dominance by the SEC in college football.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dabo will have something to say with it next year. I think it'll just go cycle back and forth. I do think Ohio State will win it eventually in the next 3 years. So.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to mention my Nebraska Cornhuskers because we got to go through Ohio State, and we can't get through Tallahassee JUCO yet. So that being said, sorry for all my friends back in Lincoln and a bunch of them in Kansas City that are Husker fans. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, go Chiefs. I'm going to say go Chiefs this week. I'm a Chiefs fan. Mrs. George is very excited, beside herself, and it's going to be a fun weekend of football. Get over to DocSports.com. Take advantage of that free $60. Don't forget about our NHL special, the 50% off special. NHL 50s, the promo code, a weekly or a daily package, and let's have a proper weekend, folks. Thanks for tuning in.